what makes a judge fair versus unfair in a personal injury case? Because we've talked about the lawyers, we've talked about the insurance, we've talked about clients and their expectations. And I don't want to get you in trouble with any judges, but what do you feel like, because you've represented so many, you've been in front of so many judges, what do you feel like makes a judge fair or unfair?
It's the eye of the beholder. One person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter. All right, and that's a bad analogy, but look. So my mom was a judge. I know many judges. I have respect for a lot of judges, and every judge I know really tries to be fair and to listen to it. And so it ends up being in the eye of the beholder. You talk. You have the friends who got the divorce. That judge did this to me and blah blah blah. So remember that. So the judges are trying to be fair. What makes them fair or unfair? Which way the decision went, right? Because of side
it depends who you ask.
Oh, he's the fairest judge I've ever made because he ruled for me. He rules against you. That guy's totally biased, right? So there. It's who won, who he ruled for. Now, let's do one caveat, one exception. Remember that in a jury trial, the judge isn't the fact finder. Okay? The jury's the fact finder. They decide the things, okay? There's 12. That's why we have this amazing jury system in America, in our Constitution, a jury of our peers. A judge doesn't get to decide a civil dispute or a crime. It has to be a jury of our peers because we don't want the judge to have that power. So we have a lot of ways to limit judges' power. There's appeals. Judges get curbed. They get brought to the curb. Judges are human too. Remember that too. And so judges, as a fact finder, judges have a limited role. But you got to remember the other thing too, and I know I'm going on, but
no, it's okay. Let's hear it.
Remember, a judge not letting you do everything you want to do in a courtroom isn't a bad thing, because I've won a lot of trials, and sometimes at the end of because then there's less to appeal. So I'm trying to do this because when I'm in a trial, I want to win everything. I'm there to win it. I'm not there to lose it, and I want to get this piece of evidence and this and this. Sometimes the judge will say, "Wait a minute. You can't get all that evidence in. That's not fair. Or you need a foundation for this. Or you can get this part of the document in, but not the whole document." And then when I win the case, I'm going, thank God that judge wouldn't let me do that, because I would have put legal error in my case, and then the other side could have appealed, and they would have reversed the case. So sometimes the judge is your best friend. Now, in the moment, you may not get it, but when you sit back at the end of the day, if you lost the case, if you won the case, you're like, thank God the judge didn't let me do that, because I don't have any error in my case now.
Because now it's settled, done. There's nothing they can appeal, and they could potentially prevent. I don't want to call it an error, but
it's called error. It's called legal error. You can call it error because that's what it is. And that's what Court of Appeals are due, because the Court of Appeals in the Supreme Court is a check on our system. It's a check on the unfair judges. It's a check on unfair lawyers. We have a lot of checks embedded in our system to have a fair, to mete out justice, right? And so in the Court of Appeals, they say you had legal error. You were not allowed to let that kind of evidence of wage loss damages in. You were not allowed to do this. Or this plaintiff's conviction was 15 years ago. It didn't have anything to do with this case. Don't let it in. Or the police officer didn't have a warrant when they went into this guy's apartment and found all the weed under his couch. Well, weed's legal now. Found all the whatever under his couch, right? So there's rules we have to protect us as Americans, because we also have our rights. You have the right to a jury trial, but the defendant has his rights too. And if I sue a defendant, we want to make sure that I don't go overboard, and we need checks in our system to balance that.